LWC is used to build user interfaces. Under input components, it contains lightning base component provided lightning input tag. Hello everyone, in this video we will explore base lightning components in LWC. As we all know, LWC is used to build user interfaces. The user interface is designed using various components such as input fields, icon, tables, forms, button and tabs. When designing component in the LWC, we can build them using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. However, the greatest advantage of LW is the ability of leverage base lightning component. You might wonder, what are base lightning components? It is a library of ready-to-use user interface elements provided by Salesforce. They come with built-in accessibility, responsiveness, and performance optimization. For example, if you need card, input field, data table, badge, or any other component UI element, these are already available as base lightning component. You simply include them in your LWC code. These components significantly speed up development by eliminating the need to write custom HTML and CSS for standard UI features. There are many components available in base lightning component. They can be categorized as input components, display components, data component, navigation component, and utility component. Under input components, it contains lightning input, lightning text area, lightning combo box. In display component, it contains lightning card, badge, icon. And in data component, we can use lightning data table, lightning record form, and lightning record edit form. And in the navigation components, we can use lightning button, lightning tab set, lightning accordion. And in the utility component, we have lightning spinner, lightning till, and lightning progress bar. In this video, we will focus on input components, which will include lightning input, text area, and combo box. In the upcoming videos, we will explore display, data, and navigation component in detail. So lightning base component provided lightning input tag, which we will use here. Now we have a type attribute, and the value of type will be a text. Here we are making a text field, and let's save it. Here we will refresh our org, and you can see one field here. Now there are various attributes in the text field like label, placeholder, which we will add, and placeholder. Let's save it and we will refresh. Here you can see your label and placeholder in the lightning input text field. Now if you want to show a predefined value in the input text field, then you need to use a value attribute. Here we will use a value attribute and we'll pass the predefined value. Here we are passing a John and save. Let's refresh, and here you can see that predefined value in the input text field. Now to make this field as a required, now here you can see that it is not a required field. So to make it, you need to pass a required attribute. Let's save it and refresh your app page, and here you can see the asterisk sign. And if we remove the value and click outside the box, outside the input, and you can see that there is a message complete this field. Here it is displaying the default message complete this field. To customize this error message, we can use message when value missing attributes. Let's use it, message when value missing. Here we can pass our error message when there is no input in the field. Let's save it. Now we will refresh. If we remove the predefined value and click outside, you can see that earlier it showed the complete this field. Now it is showing the error message that this field is required. Now we can also make this field as a disabled by using the disabled attribute. Here let's save it and refresh. You can see that our field is disabled right now. Instead of the disabled, you can also set your input field as a read only. Here you can also pass read only attribute and save it. Let's refresh. Now this field is read only. You can't change the value of this field. Another attribute is the tooltip. So for the tooltip, or we can say that help text, we use the field level help attribute. The tooltip will show the in front of the label. Let's add the field level help attribute and pass the message which you want to show as a help text. Let's save it. Now we will refresh. Here you can see the icon I. This is, we say that it's a tooltip and showing the message here, or we can say that help text. Okay, so to retrieve the value of input field in JavaScript, we use a event handler such as onChange or onKeyUp. So here I will remove the read only attribute, and the value which we use as a predefined value, I'm removing that attribute. And now we will add event on our input field. Here I'm using onChange event. You can also use a onKeyUp. It's based on your requirement. And in the onChange we need to pass our function handle input value. Now we will make this handle input value function in our JavaScript side. So we made a function, and in the handle input value the parameter will be in event, and from the event, if you want to get your input text value, we need to use event.target.value. Here we will make one variable input field value. Now the returning value from event.target.value we will store here in the input field. We are using this because it is a class variable, so we need to use this here. In HTML side we will print this and we will display this variable. Let's save it and refresh. Here you can see that the displaying paragraph is showing here. Now when we enter character in the input field, it is displaying here. Like if you're writing John, it is displaying. So by using onChange event, we can get the input text value. Here in the input text field, we can also define input text limit using minlength and maxlength attributes. Let's do it. Here in the minlength, we will define the value 3. It means that minimum length or minimum character we need to add 3 in the input text field, and in the max length we will define 8 characters. So maximum in the input text we can add 8 elements, or we can say the 8 characters. Let's save it, refresh. Now here we only enter 2 letters in the input text field, and you can see the error message, your entry is too short. If it fewer than the 3 characters are entered, it shows an error. After 8 characters no more can be added, and it will not allow to add after the 8 characters. Even you try, it will not add anything in the input field. Here we have seen the input text field. Now if you want to make a password field, we need to set the type attribute value as a password. In the password field, characters are hidden as they are typed. Let's look. Here we will make lightning input tag, and type value will be a password. And also we can also pass other attributes like label, placeholder. You can use almost all the same attributes as with the text field we used. Label, please enter your password and save it. Now we will refresh, and you can see that the new field is added, and when we entered any character, it is a password field. All other attributes which you have added in the text field, like required, message when value missing, min length, max length, field level help, all these attributes you can add in the lightning input type password as well. Now we will make a email field. So here in the email field, we need to set the type attribute value as a email. It validates the email format automatically if the input does not contain add the date in the input data. So let's make an input email field. We will copy that one. Here type will be email. Please enter your email, and all other attributes which we earlier used, min length, max length, message when value missing, field level help, all this will come. And the onChange event which we have added, it will all come in like type password, email, it doesn't matter, it will come. Let's save it, refresh, and here we can add our email, and it show the error that enter a valid email address such as name@gmail.com. So here if we enter now you can see that the error gone. To make a number field, we need to pass type attribute value as a number. Let's do it. The type number field only allow digits. If we enter any character in the input field, it will throw an error. Type value will be a number. Enter your age. The other attributes which we use like min length, max length, message when value missing, required, or event like onChange, all can come here also. Let's save it, refresh. Here we enter the digit, and if you try to enter any character and click outside, now it will throw error, enter a valid numeric value. So if we enter a valid value, no, the error gone. So this was a number field. Now we will see the checkbox field. For a checkbox, we need to set type as a checkbox. Type will be the checkbox, and the label we will pass the message I agree to the terms of service. And let's save it, refresh. Now in the UI, you can see the checkbox with the label message I agree to the terms of service. Here also you can pass other attributes like required, message when value missing, field level help. Here we will see the event onChange in the checkbox, because in the checkbox return true or false like a boolean value. If it is checked, it is returning a true value. If we are not checking this, it is returning a false value. To add an event, we are using the onChange. Here we will pass a method name handle down. Now we will make this method in our JavaScript event. Now we will make a one variable is term accepted, which will store over the value of our checkbox. This dot. Now from event we can extract value of the checkbox like event.target.checked. For the text value we are using event.target.value, but when it is a checkbox we are using event.target.checked, and we will display this is term accepted in our UI, and we are passing our variable here. Let's save it and refresh. So when we check this, you can see that it's a true value, and when we uncheck, it's showing the false value. Let's refresh again. Now you can see that by default it is not checked. So to do that, we have an attribute, checked attribute, which will set its a default state, and the checked attribute value can be true or false. Like here I am passing a checked attribute and passing a value true. It's a boolean value. Let's refresh and refresh again. You can see that checkbox, it's already by default set true or selected. We can say that 1. Now to create a date picker field, we need to set type attribute value as a date. Let's do it. Lightning input. Now the type attribute value will be the date. The label attribute we will pass date of birth, and all other attributes like required and message when value missing, field level help can come also. Let's save it and refresh. Here you can see that the date calendar opened, and you can select the date from here. You can also use min and max attribute to set valid date range in ISO format. The ISO format is the YYY-MM-DD. Now here let's process a date of birth. So we can't select date of birth as a future date. So what we will do that max, here we will make a one variable like a today date, and let's go to our JavaScript file, add the track. Now it's a birth date. So here is a today date. So let's go to the max today date. In the today date we will define the value of date. It's a today, so that no one can select after that one for future date. So in the today date value we will pass today date equal to new date. This is the method in JavaScript. It's a 2ISO string, and we will split that because it is combined with the time as well. So we then split, and we will pick our first index, which is the date, and second element of the array contain the time. Let's save it and refresh. This is 2ISO string is the method, so we need to pass a bracket. Let's save it and run again. And now let's click on the calendar, and you can see that all the future dates are disabled. You can't able to select. If you select, it will give error that value must be today date or earlier. So this was our date field. Now we will look the toggle field. Toggle is similar to the checkbox, but it is different in UI, like to display a switch style input. Let's make a one toggle field for you. Type attribute value will be the toggle. Save it, refresh. Here you can see the toggle value, and this is the toggle. It's a switch, and you can see that below the toggle value it's showing the message inactive, active. You can also change this message active or inactive by using the attribute like message toggle active, message toggle inactive. So let's do with the message toggle active. Here you can pass your message when the toggle is on, or we can say that switch is on. Toggle is toggle on, and when it's inactive, that message we can also set the attribute is message toggle inactive and toggle off. Let's save it. Now refresh. Earlier you see that active or inactive message. Now it's showing the toggle off or toggle on. That was the toggle field. Now we will look the lightning text area. Now we will see that lightning text area. So the lightning text area component is used to create a multi-line text input. It is similar to the standard HTML text area. It is designed for capturing longer text entries. So let's implement that one. Here we have a tag lightning text area. In the lightning text area you can pass attribute like name, case, description. Instead of the name, right now we will pass a label, and let's save it, and we will see in UI how it look like. It's a normal like a text area. So other attributes which we used earlier in the text fields like maximum length, required, min length, message when too short, field level help, all other we can use here also. So these are the common attributes which we can use in the components. Next component is the lightning combo box component. It will create a drop down list where the user can select a single value. It works similar to the HTML like a select element. Now in the HTML, when we define the select element, inside the select we use a option tag, but here we don't use the option tag. We define the value in our JavaScript side. Let's implement the lightning combo box. We have a tag lightning combo box, and in the label I will pass like current stage. And here right now currently I did not add any options. I'm just adding this label and save it. Let's refresh. you can see the drop down, but there are no values because we didn't define the options. No, we have an attribute options, and in the options we have to pass a variable. That variable will contain a option. Now to make a option, I will define a variable stage options. Now it will be the array, and in each array element it will contain a object, and in the object it will contain label and its value. So label and value. So this will be our options. This is the option 1, and if you want to define option 2, option 3. In the label we will pass some values like option 1 and it's your value, option 2 value, option 3 and its value. Now we will pass this stage option in our attribute value, which we using options here. Save it and let's refresh. Now you can see the options in the drop down. So when you will select any option, to get the value of that option we need to use our onChange event. OnChange, here you have to pass your function name that we will make now handle drop down. We will make this function in our JavaScript. This will contain event. Now to get the value of our drop down option, event dot detail dot value. From here we will get our option value. If anyone select option 2, we will get our this 2 value. We will store that one also. This dot selected option, we will make this selected option variable and will display the selected option in our UI. Let's save it. Let's refresh. Now when you will select option 2 value, you can see that it's displaying the value of that option also. So here we have seen the drop down, or we can say that lightning combo box. So in this video we explored the input components in base lightning components, including lightning input, lightning text area and lightning combo box. These ready to use components make UI development in Salesforce faster, consistent and highly efficient. That's all in this video. In the upcoming videos we will explore display, data and navigation components in detail. Thank you.